It's the Brad and John Show.
It is the Brad and John Show, and it's the B block, the Bravo block, which means it's the second block in the show. We started about 7:20, and we've transformed the B block into something special, right, John? And John is so excited about this.
I think it's awesome for however many days you keep this up, Brad. Hey, is there a little jingle that goes along with it?
John, funny you should mention that because
it's time for Brad's Top 3.
It is time for Brad's Top 3. Oh, they're going to sing it. Well, no, that's right. They don't sing it one more time. They just sing it once. Okay. Oh, there it is. I knew they sang it twice. Okay. My top 3 this morning. Okay, John, you're going to love it. You ready?
I'm ready.
Here we go.
It's number 3.
It's number 3. And believe it or not, this somewhat involves John Combest. Are you familiar with the website, or actually I guess it would be the app, Blue Sky, John? You know about Blue Sky?
Oh, yeah, that's where all the liberals went when they were mad at Elon Musk.
Exactly. Because of the fact that once Elon Musk bought X, our hometown boy, Mark Dorsey, decided, well, we can't have that conservative bastion turn X into something that might be something useful. We have to take all our
And his name is not Mark Dorsey. Brad, Mark Dorsey is the successful businessman at the top of KTRS.
That's right. What's his name? Tim Dorsey? That's Mark's
Jack
father.
Dorsey.
Jack Dorsey. Okay, excuse me. I get the Dorsey boys. And they're all related. Did you know that?
No, I did not. Are they really?
Yeah, they really are. Seriously. Okay.
Oh, well.
They have got this new website called Blue Sky. Do you ever go to Blue Sky, John?
No. And it started, probably 9 months ago?
Yeah, and like I said, it's an alternative, and what they decided, they wanted to have a positive place where they could go and talk about progressive and left-leaning politics. Would that pretty much be the sort of the thumbnail of it?
Yeah, and I would make the argument, too, you can get reported very easily, like if you would say something like, immigrants are committing crimes. From what I've seen from right-wingers, if you say things that could be misinterpreted as mean to certain protected classes, you'll get a report against you and you'll get kicked off.
Right. What's happened, though, is it's gotten a little bit out of hand. And one of the biggest liberals, Mark Cuban, is now saying enough is enough. Do you know about this, John?
No, I haven't. No, is this recent?
Yes. Matter of fact, this was just yesterday. By the way, today is June 13th, so it's Friday the 13th. I didn't mention that before. Okay, Mark Cuban says liberal alternative to X has become hateful due to leftist groupthink. And he talks about the fact that he's not happy with what's happened to Blue Sky. Matter of fact, he says he seemed to realize this week that liberal social media alternative to X, the platform Blue Sky, has become toxic and hateful because of the anger on display there. In a series of recent posts to Blue Sky, the business mogul lamented that people on the platform, quote, have grown ruder and more hateful. You think they were bad on X? They're even worse on Blue Sky. He says, even if you agree with 95% of what a person is saying on a topic, if there is one point that you might call out as being more of a gray area, they will call you a fascist. So that's according to Mark.
Yeah. So, this should surprise no one.
Right. You're right. It says, Blue Sky, social media platform created by Twitter co-founder Jack Dorsey, saw massive growth in users following President Donald Trump's election in 2024. Many of them fleeing X to escape conservative voices. OMG, conservative voices. Dorsey quit Blue Sky's board last week. He was on the board. A recent Pew Research Center study found that Blue Sky went from 10 million to 30 million users between November 2024 and last month, the majority of them being liberals looking for friendlier online spaces. And going on to some great Mark Cuban quotes, he says, engagement went from great convos on many topics to agree with me, are you a Nazi fascist?
And he was on the board of Blue Sky. Just think about that. That's somebody that they considered a leader.
But here's part of the story that John is too modest to talk about.
Oh, yeah. Okay, what's this going to be, Brad?
That secretly, Mark Cuban has been in negotiation with John Combest because John Combest is a wonderful social media guru, and he has asked John Combest to come on board and straighten out Blue Sky, and he has asked him to essentially give the rules of Blue Sky like John gives the rules of Twitter. And essentially, what's interesting about this is John won't admit this, but he's already asked me personally, Brad, to come on board as the chief reply guy. So
yes, Brad, I love it. It's a perfect title. for folks who aren't familiar with Twitter/X, but you are familiar with other social media places, it's when someone popular or someone with a large following or even just a hot chick will post something and there's reply guys that feel a need to respond to everything. And Brad, a lot of times with political people, one of the key things about reply guys too is sometimes they'll do reply spam. So they'll reply with something that has nothing to do with the person's original post.
And John is the expert at calling those people out. Okay, you ready?
Thank you, Brad. I appreciate the compliment.
You ready for number two?
I sure am.
Yes, Brad's number two.
It's time for Brad's number two.
She says it twice. Get it? Brad's number two. She says it twice.
Get it, Brad.
Okay. Here's a local homegrown stupid criminal story. Have you heard about this crazy guy who is tracking down people who died and then robbing their homes? Have you heard this story?
No, I haven't, Brad.
St. Louis man tracked obituaries of multiple St. Louis County residents who recently died, then broke into their homes to steal jewelry, weapons, and other high-priced items. Now, how did they find him? First off, they did some excellent police work. I'll get in that in a minute. But at one of the crime scenes where he's breaking into the house of someone who recently died and he knows there's not going to be anybody there, he left his debit card. Okay, stupid criminal trick number 32. Don't leave your debit card at a place you burglarize. Can you believe this, John?
Why would he have anything in his pocket that could possibly identify him when he's in there?
It gets worse. The guy's name is Brandon J. Welsh. He has been charged with second-degree burglary and 2 counts of stealing. And the burglary leading to Welch's charge occurred on May 6th, the 2600 block of Black Forest Drive in South St. Louis County. Now, according to court documents, this was obtained by Fox 2, Welch acted with another person to steal a Lowe's credit card, jewelry, and a firearm from this house. Investigators say Welch left behind his own debit card at the scene, along with a card belonging to the victim of another apparent burglary. So he drops his own debit card and a credit card of another burglary location that he did. So in other words, it's like, okay, we've just linked him to another crime. While investigating, police learned that a neighbor's surveillance camera captured a Dodge Ram at the scene for nearly 4 hours, which later linked Welch to the crime. Now get this. After the burglary, the victim's Lowe's cards, in other words, he stole this poor dead guy's Lowe's card, was used to purchase more than $3,000 of merchandise for pickup at a local Lowe's store. A driver in a Dodge Ram later arrived at the Lowe's location to retrieve the items, but the store had already been alerted to possible fraud and ultimately stopped the transaction. That's when Welch allegedly called Lowe's. He calls them because he's complaining, hey, you know the stuff I'm trying to steal from your store with a stolen credit card? Your guys won't give it to me. That's when Welch allegedly called Lowe's twice in an attempt to complete the pickup. The investigators then began tracking his phone actively, which revealed unusual patterns. John,
That's incredible.
I mean, is this guy the DS and dumb is dumb? D is dumb. Is he the DS of the month? You know, I mean, first off, how do you drop your debit card? I don't know, maybe it fell off his pocket or something like that? Or maybe...
Yeah, I guess so. So why is it in his pocket in the first place when he's robbing a new place? You would want to leave out any kind of identifying stuff, right?
You would think. I mean, you always see in the movies, you always see the guy who's the cat burglar. He's dressed in all black. He's got the black stocking cap, and he doesn't have any identifying information on it. He has no ID, so in case he gets arrested, he can say, well, I'm John Combest. That kind of stuff.
Yeah. And this sounds to me, Brad, like one of those type of crimes that would have made a lot of sense 20 years ago when there were no ring cams.
See,
when the Lowe's or Home Depot tracking of security wasn't as good. Like 20 or 30 years ago, this sounds like a brilliant idea, but not today.
John Combest, thank you. It's just like the knuckleheads who are vandalizing the Teslas, which have cameras all around, which record even when the vehicle is not running. You would think they'd learn their lesson about not vandalizing Teslas, or in this case, not parking your truck in front of a guy's house that you're going to steal, and then, or you're going to burglarize, and then use the same truck to go pick up the ill-gotten gains from the Lowe's store, right? Okay, John.
Why wouldn't he just, real quick though, Brad, why wouldn't this criminal have just taken a handgun or cash or jewelry why would you steal something that's so easily tracked as a debit or credit
See,
card?
I don't get that. That makes no sense to me. And
That's
exactly
greed. Maybe that's just criminal greed.
exactly what you said, because go in and here's I do this for fun. Okay, I go into stores and I walk in the door and I'm looking at all the security measures. Okay, see that camera over there, camera right there, motion detector over here. You know what I'm saying? Why wouldn't he figure out that if he's going to use a stolen credit card and then go pick up the stuff, they've got him pictures of him in the parking lot, pictures of him walking up to the pickup desk. You know what I'm saying, John?
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. Quite foolish, Brad.
Right. Okay, you ready for number one?
Yes.
And now, big finish, Brad's number.
Oh, yes. One. Sing it with me, John. One.
I can't hear it, but I'm just going by you.
Okay. Brad's number one. And by the way, you can find all this stuff if I survive the morning and able to make it to 8:30 to post all this stuff on bradstop3.com. You will find this story. Elizabeth Hurley. You know who Elizabeth Hurley is?
Oh, yes, I do, Brad. She's got a live frame, and I'd put her at, what, mid-50s now?
She is officially 50. And Brad's number one is about what she did on her 50th birthday. John, you ready for this?
Yeah, I wish it was John Combest.
She went out in the woods, found a nice empty field. She took off all her clothes, sat down with her legs in front of her torso, and had a birthday suit, birthday picture taken and posted it on her social media sites saying, I'm 50, I still enjoy life, I love life, and I look smoking hot still, okay, at 50, okay?
That's really disappointing.
Okay, but here's where I enter into the picture. Just last week, I celebrated my 90th birthday.
Your 90th kayfabe anniversary on June 4th, right?
Right.
Your 90th kayfabe birthday.
That was on Wednesday of last week. And John, you may be a little bit not happy to hear this, but on the 4th of June, when I celebrated on my 90th birthday last week, I did the show naked.
Wow. Wait, are we supposed to wear clothes?
I had no clothes on. And I thought to myself, if I can get away with a radio show being naked, I'm just going to go out to my car and transact business that day. So I went into my car, and I drove around for a while, and I was tempted to go in places naked, but I'm not going to do that. I was driving around in Webster Groves, and all of a sudden I look up in the rearview mirror, and oh my God, police are behind me. They're pulling me over. So they pulled me over, and the officer comes up to the window, and he does a double take, and he says, "Sir, you're not wearing any clothes." And I go, "Yes." And I said to him, "Is that why you pulled me over?" He says, No. Your one brake light is out. But you are naked, and that's illegal. And I said to him, I looked him straight in the eye, and I said, "Where am I right now?" And he says, "Webster Groves." And I said, "Okay, officer, since I'm in Webster Groves, I'm identifying as a fully clothed man." And he says, "Sir, have a good day." And I drove off.
That was a creative excuse, Brad, because in the People's Republic of Webster Groves, you can be whoever you want to be. There's no real gender or race or anything, right?
Right. So whatever you identify with, here I was a naked man, but I identified with as a fully clothed man. Matter of fact, as I was identifying with myself, I was identifying myself in a very expensive tuxedo that I bought at one of the men's haberdashery stores at Plastic Front and Back. That's how I was.
Oh, yeah. Haberdashery is an underappreciated word from the old-timey days. I love that, Brad. Now, is this your build-up to talking about your own naked photo shoot?
No, it's not a build-up, my own naked photo shoot. That's not it at all. Okay, so 2 days of Brad Top 3. Go ahead and rate me. You don't have to be kind. Just go ahead and tell me where I'm at. I mean, it can't come any close to the John Combest Top 3. But on a scale,
I'd put it in the high 9s, Brad. But let's be conservative. We'll say 9.0. I like the fact that you pointed out yesterday that some of the top 3 will sometimes just be a Brad rant. Like your inability to find a simple location in Newtown was not a news story, but it's more of an observation or a rant. And thankfully, Mike Elam introduced you to map
Yes, he said that to me yesterday. But the interesting thing was, after we got off the show, remember Mike says, the address is on the invitation. I went back and reread the invitation from top to bottom, the one that I got emailed to me. There was no address because otherwise...
Yeah, but they gave the address to people they wanted to attend.
Yes, exactly. They
just told you Newtown.
Yeah,
Brad.
they were doing A/B testing on their email. The A's
they
got...
sent you on a snipe hunt.
Right.
Can we go back to Elizabeth Hurley for a minute? This underscores the fact that when she turns 50, she posts a naked photo of herself, even
Right.
if it's not lascivious.
Right.
She posts a naked photo of herself on social media so that everybody praises her and tells her how wonderful she is. It goes to what the great Rollo Tomasi, one of my favorite authors, says, which is they always get naked. Women who need this kind of validation and need you to tell them they're pretty, they always get naked, Brad, because that's how they're going to get attention.
See, John.
Now, why couldn't Elizabeth... Hold on one second, Brad. Why couldn't Elizabeth Hurley have posted for her 50th birthday, here's the best 50 books I've read in my life, or here's 50 things I learned about growing older as a former actress? No, instead, she's got to take her clothes off so that thirsty men can say, you're so beautiful. You're more beautiful than you were when you were younger. That's a lie. And also women can be like, oh, my God, I wish I looked like you and I'm that age. So they always get naked, Brad. No matter what, they always get naked.
You know, I'm going to pull that quote from the show, and I'm going to use it as one of my drops where John says, they always get naked.
Thank you, Brad. Yes. That's like what you do when you tell them that you know the guy that does Brad's top 3. They say, ooh, could we meet him sometime in a parking lot? Is that the guy that's got all those same letters on his license plate? And I'll be like, yeah, I could get you to meet him, but we should probably spend a little time together first, you know?
Can I give you one little observation on this?
Yeah, please do, Brad.
You made the allusion to that men always appreciate naked women, right? Isn't that what you said, or something to that effect?
Well, what I meant was that women always women that need that sort of validation will always get naked or near naked for men's approval.
See, I find women dressed in certain styles to be very attractive. Like in my not that long ago, I used to go to some of the concerts at Riverport. I mean, I haven't been in a long time. I think I saw Brad Paisley, I don't know, 5 or 6 years ago. What I found very attractive were the women that show up at country concerts in like a short skirt and knee-high cowboy boots.
Oh, God, yes. Are you kidding me? Yes.
Something about that is like, OMG. You know what I'm saying? John, you feel the same way then, right?
I do. And I mean, so you have two reactions. You have a visceral physical reaction, which is probably increased blood flow. But then you also think, gosh, those spurs are really going to hurt my ears.
That's John Combest. As a matter of fact, if you want more of John, you can go to his website, and he has all the pictures of all the spurs that the women he's had. Okay.
And by the way, a sundress, I'd put just a general, just a classic white girl, a basic white girl, and a cute little sundress. I'd put that over a skirt and cowboy boots, Brad, but it's just a matter of preference.
Yeah, I hear you, John. Okay, time for a break.